Now, I should preface by saying that I'm not talking weird in a bad way. A lot of these movies are a good weird. A great weird, definitely unlike anything we've seen before. They often don't make sense, or they're absurd, or even kooky in their execution, but that's what makes them so great. These are the top 5 weirdest horror movies of 2020. Let's jump in. Coming in at number 5, we have Spiral. This is an incredibly interesting, unique, and downright terrifying Canadian horror movie that so many people have overlooked in 2020. And it's a damn shame. Directed by Curtis David Harder, and starring Jeffrey Boyer Chapman and Ari Cohen as Malik and Aaron, a same-sex couple who move to a small town with their daughter Kayla. However, things begin to get a little strange once they get there, with them suspecting that their new neighbors, Marshall and Tiffany, may be hiding some dark and sinister secrets. Now, you know you've made an incredibly effective horror movie when people begin to take to Twitter to call it a documentary of sorts. Spiral has a very Get Out vibe to it. The couple arrive and are instantly met with friendliness, but intrigue, with the right-leaning homophobes in their new small town making the couple suspect that something scary might be going on behind closed doors. It's a movie that confronts the idea of the other, as well as conformity, and it is true, many moments are true to life, while others are just downright absurd and terrifying. His name is Death editor Albert Nowicki stated, I quote, "Finally, giving gay characters the right to speak and tell their stories." And that's so true. It is so refreshing to see a gay story such as this unfold on screen and in such an important way. You have to check this movie out. It's very unique, very crazy, a little weird, but very important. Before we jump into number 4, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. Coming in at number 4, we have RentaPal.
Hi, I'm Carla.
Hi, my name is Mary.
Hi, I'm Susan.
Hi, I'm David. I'm 40 years.
Now, this movie is completely absurd in the best way possible. Directed by John Stevenson and starring Will Wheaton, Brian Landis Falkins, Kathleen Brady, and Amy Rutledge, RentaPal follows David Brower, a middle-aged bachelor who is desperately seeking a romantic partner. David is incredibly lonely and living with his elderly mother who's suffering from dementia. It's during this time that he comes across a dating service, RentaPal, which is kind of like Tinder but for friends. David meets a friend through the service, a man named Andy. However, Andy doesn't have the best intentions and instead preys on David, turning him into someone else completely. He preys on his weaknesses, humiliates him, puts him down, and completely manipulates him, leading to some truly devastating consequences. It's a movie that demonstrates just how dangerous solitude and loneliness can be for an individual, and it's not confirmed whether Andy led to the downfall of David or if he was already on the brink of falling. Either way, it's a devastating horror with a very unique concept that we haven't seen before on screen. Definitely weird, definitely creative, and definitely terrifying. You should all check out RentaPal immediately. Coming in at number 3, Saint Maud.
Oh, it's like he's physically in me. It's how he guides me.
My little savior.
Now, I had the pleasure of seeing Saint Maud back in 2019 at its debut at the Toronto International Film Festival. However, it didn't get released until October 2020 by Studio Canal UK. Directed by Rose Glass, Saint Maud follows palliative care nurse Maud, who recently converted to Roman Catholicism, who accepts a job as the nurse for a former dancer who is dying of cancer, Amanda. However, Maud develops an obsession with Amanda, believing that it's her duty to save her soul, and that it is her divine calling. This is a strange film in the sense that you never know if what you're seeing on screen is to be believed, and if the protagonist we're following is someone we can trust. And you will continue to feel this way until the bitter end. Now, Amanda is an atheist, but humors Maud's beliefs, even praying with her, pretending to feel the presence of God. However, this is all a front, and whether she truly likes Maud or cares for her is always kind of a mystery, with Amanda even berating her in front of guests at a party. This sends Maud into a frenzy, and she begins to unravel mentally, leading to an absolutely insane and terrifying ending that will have audience members reeling, with one final shot that will also leave you gasping. And like I said, until the bitter end, you will never be quite sure whether what you're watching is real or a figment of Maud's imagination. It's all very confusing, but beautifully executed. Tense as it plays out, with an incredible cast delivering some truly superb performances. Saint Maud is not to be missed. Coming in at number 2, The Lodge.
What is that?
It's Christ.
Everyone committed suicide except for her. Repent, and you will find salvation.
Now, this psychological horror has a way of getting right under your skin, and it's not one you're going to forget quickly. Directed by Veronica Franz and Severin Fiala in their follow-up to Goodnight Mummy, The Lodge follows a soon-to-be stepmother, Grace, played by Riley Coe, who becomes stranded at a rural lodge with her fiancé's 2 children during Christmas. Now, Grace met her soon-to-be husband Richard while researching an extremist Christian cult. We quickly learn that Grace was also raised in a cult, and she was the sole survivor of a mass suicide, which was led by her father. Now, while trapped at the lodge, strange events begin to take place that all seem to be connected to Grace's past. The children also don't seem to be taking to her, with them acting out and refusing to communicate with her. And then one day they wake up and everything in their home is gone except for the furniture. Even the food is gone. The movie plays out as a generational conflict between the new stepmother and the children in her life, but at the same time it's also a ghost story, and an incredibly effective one at that. The first 10 minutes of the movie, starring Alicia Silverstone as the children's mother, is so incredibly effective and powerful, but also incredibly jarring, setting the tone for the movie to follow. As more and more peculiar things begin to take place, the group each begin to suspect one another, with it being clear that someone among them might be sick in the mind, but who is it exactly? The movie quickly descends into madness, with an ending that will leave even veteran horror movie lovers gasping. Honestly, this movie is so strange in its execution, but that's a compliment. It's a fresh new horror that I highly suggest everyone checks out immediately. It gets right in your brain. And finally, in at number 1, we have The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Perhaps the most oddball movie on our list, and one that can be quite jarring in places because of it. The Wolf of Snow Hollow is the latest werewolf movie to hit our screens, and it's definitely not delivered in the most conventional way. Directed by Jim Cummings and starring Ricky Lindholm, Chloe East and Jimmy Tatro, the movie follows a small Utah town that becomes terrorized by a werewolf after a series of brutal murders are discovered in the Sleepy Ski community. Now, when we think werewolf movies, we think of one formula, because this one formula is used in pretty much all werewolf movies. Someone is bitten, they become cursed, and they are forced to kill innocents, and in the end they're usually killed by a person that loves them the most. Sad times. However, Jim Cummings absolutely obliterates these conventions, while also remaining quite true to the spirit of the werewolf movie. Now, Cummings also appears in the movie as a cop who is also a recovering alcoholic, who is attempting to come to terms with the fact that there might be a werewolf in their town. The movie builds in tension superbly and matches its tension with grisly murders. However, it's weird in its approach, with it also being quite an oddball movie with incredibly deadpan humor, which, like I said prior, makes it a little jarring in places. However, for those who love werewolf movies, this is a fresh new take on a somewhat stale subgenre. Enjoy, just be warned, it's not what you would expect. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? Were there any strange horror movies that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 horror movie moments that weren't meant to happen. Mark Lopez said, "Lucy, his squeal is real. Put that on a t-shirt." Yes, I did say that, and it was an unintentional rhyme, but yeah, you should put that on a t-shirt. His squeal was real. That, I remember, came from my scream number in that previous video that I had to improv the whole point because I forgot to script it. So that whole scream point was improv. I deserve an applause for that. Anthony said, "Fact, Stir of Echoes was better than The Sixth Sense." That is a bold claim, and that will piss a lot of people off, but you know what? I agree with you. Stir of Echoes is amazing. It's one of the best horrors, and no one talks about it. Jason King said, "I honor Brandon Lee by watching The Crow, otherwise his death would have been pointless." Okay, you have a point. I understand. I just find it hard to watch a film that I know the person died in. The scene where he gets shot, like, I can't watch it. He died while filming that movie. He died in that movie. I can't watch it. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But I understand, honor his legacy. He died for that movie. But it was an avoidable death. It was a weird death. Edmund Williams said, "The Pale Queen finds it funny when people get hurt." Facts. I love watching people get hurt. It fills me with so much joy. Kelly Ballier said, "I didn't know Jennifer Jason Leigh was the daughter of Vic Morrow. Learn something new all the time." I didn't know Jennifer Jason Leigh was the daughter of Vic Morrow. I need to look that up to confirm that you're correct, but I trust that you're correct. But that's sad that she lost her dad in that way, because the way Vic Morrow died was horrific. Horrible. And that video is still on YouTube. It's horrible. That video should not exist. Single Dad said, "Lucy at the Improv. Nice job on winging number 3. Thank you. I'm glad you noticed that I winged number 3. Well, I think they put it in the bloopers, to be honest. But yes, Sometimes you forget to script an entire number, but thank God I know Scream like the back of my hand, so it was lucky there was that number. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, and until next time, I'll see you later. Joss, like a carer is palliative care nurse, right? Palliative? Catholicism. Have you heard the word before, palliative? Okay, I'm just gonna guess that it's right. If it's not right, cut it out. Oh, I just watched this one the other day, it's good. Because this formula is used in print. Oh my god. Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the oh my god, what's coming up? Anthony said fact, say, oh my god, can I even spell?